You know, it's funny. I used to love spiders. I live in a rural town in Floyd, Virginia. Well, actually, it's extremely rural, and the only connecting towns are Indian Valley, Willis, and Czech. And these aren't even towns at all, just little connecting areas where you can get to Floyd. Floyd is extremely small. It's only about a 7-mile stretch. When you enter, when coming through Czech, you come across a Dollar General. After that, there's some type of mattress place and mixed with a rehabilitation center. Not for drug abusers, it's a physical therapy center. I've never been to it, but my friend's dad was in an accident once and he had to go there. On the other side of my street are just houses. Behind the rehab center is a doctor's office and, of course, more housing. My friends and I refer to this area as the Floyd Ghetto. Well, actually, the houses aren't in bad condition whatsoever. We just named it that way for no particular reason. As you continue down the main street, there's an Express Mart. You know those stores that don't have a chain in other locations and nobody has ever heard of them? Yeah, well, that's the Express Mart. Beside that is Floyd Pharmacy, which also has a connecting gas station. The place is actually nice. It has a little relaxation area. Just makes you feel at home. Nuzzled in between the two is DJ's Drive-In, another non-chain restaurant where you can order some really good food. See, Floyd is designed very weirdly because across from DJ's is a Subway and a Pizza Inn. I mean Subway is a restaurant. Duh. I guess they compete for business, but hey, they're all still in business, so why don't we all just enjoy our variety of foods? There's a car shop across from the gas station. Most of the cars it sells are really bad and pricey. Half of the cars are used, half of the cars are new. The prices go something like this. Car, $5,000. They'll sell it for $8,000. I understand the concept of making money, but come on. Every once in a while they have some expensive sports car I'll gawk at, but hey, that's normal to me. After all the shops and businesses, it's a high school. Our school is pretty poor, so it's not much to see. To be honest, I don't even know why. You'd think with some of the highest test scores in Virginia they could help us out, but I digress. Continuing up the streets of Floyd, you come across a very repetitive Floyd scene. A gas station, and you guessed it, another restaurant. The gas station is Exxon, and the restaurant is Hardee's. Behind Hardee's sits a garage, and that's being nice. I mean, really some trash pile that houses dozens of broken cars. Oh, the joy of living in Floyd. Anyway, if you ever come up the street, you'll reach a courthouse. Across with some other random little shops and the like. Never been inside any of those buildings. The last two buildings is Floyd is the Food Lion and Slaughter's, a non-chain market. Slaughters. Growing up on farms, you have to be used to many various insects, rodents, etc. invading your housing. I was very fond of spiders myself. I'd venture into my family's barn to hunt for them. I'd find various harmless spiders. On the lucky occasion I would find a black widow or brown recluse. I was very excited. I learned from my parents how to identify spiders, and which ones were poisonous and the such. To be honest, I didn't care if the spider was completely harmless or deathly poisonous. It didn't stop me from having fun with them. And I'm not some insect torturer who gets joy out of pitting them to fight for the death. I mean, I really just found them fascinating. And hey, they help with other pets that would eat the crops. Nothing very interesting ever happened in Floyd. The town was extremely boring. I just passed the time by exploring the land/town. One day, though, something really weird happened. It started off normal, getting off from school and walking home. Except these trucks were driving down the road of Floyd. By truck, I mean something with 8 wheels carrying tanks full of something. There were about 2 of these trucks, and were being led by a military-type vehicle. It didn't have guns on it, but you could definitely tell it was military by the distinct green color on it. The tanks were always being followed by the same thing. Of course, being in the town of Floyd, the news of these tankers spread like wildfire. Various rumors spread across the high school. One person in my class said they were transporting dangerous liquid used to raise the dead. Others said that it was dangerous sewage, and some leaked out into their lawn and destroyed many of the vegetation surrounding their home. Even with my high school brain, I knew these were false. Personally, I think a 5th grader could determine that these rumors were all made by people with really nothing better to do than make up these lies. But I did notice that something was off in Floyd the following days. See, Virginia has a very bad stink bug problem. The college VA did some experiment where they released about 10,000 stink bugs into the wild. Releasing an invasive species, great idea, right? Now Virginia's full of them. They're some of the most annoying bugs for farmers. During when they were the most common, there were none. I wasn't worried. In fact, overjoyed is a better word. Their sudden disappearance just made my job easier. I would make daily trips to the barn to find various spiders and insects. I found no other insect except for a wolf spider. The average wolf spider's length is about the size of a quarter. The body it is. The legs making it reach probably about 3 inches toe-to-toe in length. This time, though, this was a very large spider. Probably the biggest one I had ever seen at the time. The body was about 1.5 times the size of a quarter. Legs were about 2 inches in itself, making the spider about 6 inches of total length. I found this extremely interesting, though. In my opinion, the larger the spider, the cooler. I would only expect that this had killed many of the other insects. The only issue with this spider was that it was very aggressive. I mean, when I got close to it, it charged at me. I managed to step back, barely avoiding getting bitten. That's odd, I thought, as I hadn't come across a wolf spider that aggressive. It was getting late, so I just left the spider and went inside. The next day was no different. I went to school, rumors about the trucks died down, and I went on with my life. Same following the next 2 days. After getting home from school on Friday, I wanted to go to the barn. I couldn't go for the past couple of days due to homework. I wanted to check up on the aggressive brown recluse I had seen, and I did just that. For the first 15 minutes, I found nothing. I was about to call it quits until I saw it, or at least its molted skin. See, when a spider molts, it means it's reaching adulthood. This really frightened me because the molted skin was about 7 inches total. I knew that since it was molting, it was going to get bigger. Now, I know some spiders can grow to the size of a dinner plate, but never a brown recluse. I figured this had to be some sort of record, so when I saw it next time, I was going to get some sort of evidence to prove my find. When I returned to school on Monday, things were noticeably different. My agricultural class, which usually had 22 students, now had 16. In ITF, Information Technology Fundamentals, a class that was my largest in 29 people, only had 20. In A lunch, where every table was often filled with people, nearly a quarter of the tables were empty. All during Spanish, the only class with its regular amount of people, I could not take my mind off the spider. Just the pure thought of a most likely 8.5-inch spider running around would not be pleasant to most. When going to algebra class, I knew something was wrong. An announcement came on in the intercom. The announcement was as follows.
We are releasing students early today. Please ride the bus home to your designated guardian. If you do not know your bus number, please report to the office. All afternoon activities are canceled. We will call the households to inform people when the school is back on. Please, everyone, stay safe.
Most people were excited. They were just happy we were leaving school early. I was the opposite. Never had they just released the kids and not even told us why. Something was wrong, and I knew it. The bus ride home was quiet. I spent time listening to my iPod and staring out the window. As I watched the landscape move by, my eye caught sight of something. A giant web just placed in the middle of a field. The web was the size of a car. It was almost invisible, as if seriously covered by the ground. There was a house sitting next to it. The door was wide open, no people appeared anywhere near the house, and there was no sign of the car that usually sat in their yard. When I got home, I needed to tell my parents about the spider. "Mom," I said when we got home, "we need to leave now. There was a spider in the barn and—" Mom wasn't there. The kitchen light was on, along with the living room light. The rest of the house was empty. My room, my parents' room, and the bathroom. The TV displayed news. It was playing something, but I wasn't focused on it. There sat a note on the table. "Sorry about not being home today. Dad and I had some chores to do. We need to go to the grocery store for groceries and fill up the car with gas. I think we need to stop by Austin's. That's up to your father. Oh yeah, we also need to get some things out of the barn. Love you, honey. Be back around 5:30. No, not the barn. I dropped the backpack on the ground and ran to the barn. The clock read 4:17 p.m. as I stepped onto the porch. I ran toward the barn, and when I reached it, everything looked normal. The door was open as usual, so I stepped inside. I explored it and found nothing. I was relieved as I figured that they hadn't just made it out to the barn yet. I was about to leave it as I looked down. The floor was coated in a white, stringy substance. Oh no, I thought, extremely panicked. I was standing in spiderweb. A massive spiderweb. I looked up at the ceiling and was horrified. Hundreds of baby spiders littered the roof, some falling onto nearby stacks of hay and many on the floor. That's when I noticed it. My mom and dad were tied to the ceiling. All I could see were their faces, pale and lifeless. The rest of the bodies were covered by web and spiders. I was in the process of vomiting when I saw it. A massive spider now blocked the front door. It was at least 2 feet tall with a 4-foot reach. At that point it all came together. The tanker, the oversized spiders, the missing students. Why our town? Why did this happen to us? I asked with tears rolling down my face. I had to get out of here. Anywhere was better than being stuck in a barn with my dead parents hanging from the ceiling. The gigantic spider hadn't seen me yet, so I had made my way out of the back door. I ran back inside and the news caught my eye. Reports of missing people mixed with reports of huge spiders. I just sat back on my couch watching the live footage of the town of Floyd being taken over by my massive spiders. I think he meant by massive spiders. The cameraman flashed to the food line. It showed the spiders on top of people, just tearing them apart. The news reporter was tackled by a spider, and the cameraman dropped his camera and ran. The TV turned to an emergency broadcast system, and I knew it was over. When I say over, I don't mean the town of Floyd. I mean the whole world. The military, they wouldn't be able to stop this. Genetically modified spiders, I thought as I chuckled to myself. So this was the end. Wasn't what I was expecting, but hey, I like spiders, right? I felt a sense of ease as I walked the streets of Floyd, now ravaged by these arachnids. The bodies of people lay on the ground. I saw spiders scurrying across the streets to pick their next victim. The gas station blew up momentarily, deafening and blinding me. I opened my eyes to see a spider crawling towards me.
Oh well, it was a good run. Ha! Now I know why people have arachnophobia. Because of these monstrosities.